So we came back, we had many conversations coming back as far as with the parents and the teachers saying, wow, because not only did these schools have these major accomplishments, but when we looked at the demographics, they were very similar to the makeup of our students there at Grover Beach School. We thought, we can do this, we can do this. So we came back, we had several meetings before we invited Andy and Jim to come. We were trying to hash out, well, which one do we want to be? Do we want to be like a Chinese Mandarin magnet school, or do we want to be an international baccalaureate school, or do we want to do our own thing? Luckily, Jim encouraged us not to do our own thing and to become an international baccalaureate, because we really could take what we saw from these two schools and do a hybrid at our campus, but the International Baccalaureate Program is the main driver. You might ask, well, what is the International Baccalaureate Program? It's one where there is an incredible amount of staff development that will occur this next year. During that training that occurs, we basically become retooled as far as an administrator and teachers and everybody on campus on a different approach to teaching. We're going to rewrite the curriculum, make it considerably more challenging, rigorous. It's going to be definitely one, but it's also going to be very exciting, because in the approach we will take with the International Baccalaureate Program, the curriculum is rewritten and the training occurs with the inquiry-based approach to learning. And that is where the students are going to be doing a lot more application and hands-on learning in addition to the teaching and the activities we have. Tons of team building, tons of presentations the students are involved in, problem solving, critical thinking skills, all the themes that you will read through in this book. In addition to that, second language plays a big role. This is where we learned from the Chinese Magnet School how important it was to teach the second language and the culture that comes along with it. We're going to require students to take Spanish as a required course at our school. In addition to that, technology. The technology component plays a big role in the International Baccalaureate Program, because and it's not just technology going to the computer lab once a week. One where the daily lessons incorporate technology in many ways. We saw Corinthian boards, like these big whiteboards that teachers were teaching down in San Diego, and the students would have their individual laptops and they would be able to communicate or give responses on the Corinthian boards. And we thought, wow, the technology, the second language, the inquiry-based approach to learning, the International Baccalaureate Program was for us. So we've been really excited as a staff. And luckily, thanks to the direction of Jim and Andy and the school board, it gives us an opportunity to look at this different way of being able to provide learning for our community. And what's good for the International Baccalaureate Program is that it's really one that could be replicated in many places. It's not just for Grover Beach School. It's for any campus that's excited about providing skills that children need for the future and has the staff commitment to do so, and the community. When we did our school board presentation asking for permission, approval to be able to go in this direction, the mayor was there, Mr. Schultz, very much supportive. We had the city manager who was there as well. There's a lot of support in the community to see Grover Beach take off and be successful in the International Baccalaureate Program. I just think it's a great way for us to move forward. And again, the 21st century skills are so important, and I thank, again, the superintendent and curriculum and the school board for giving us this opportunity. And I know fundraising comes up next, but we're ready to roll up our sleeves and help out as well. Any questions about what I tried to share with you a little bit? Yes, sir.
What's the buy-in from the teaching staff been, or has there been a buy-in?
Really supportive. It's one of those that we had multiple opportunities to learn more about it. By that I mean, we took one trip down to San Diego initially. Then the superintendent allowed a group of us, including a parent who went with us, to go to an international baccalaureate conference last summer in Texas. It was pretty hot that day, I remember that, but it was such a great conference. Then we had several meetings during the course of the year, and then we took another 2 vans down to San Diego. And then I really sat down with the staff and said, here's our options, because I didn't want to proceed forward unless we had staff buy-in. And it's almost universal support.
Thanks, Juan. So IB is actually, Juan's doing the primary years program. There's also a middle years program and a high school program. So at the high school level, the International Baccalaureate is very comparable to an AP, advanced placement kind of classes. So it's a very rigorous curriculum. If you lived overseas in another country, especially in Europe, IB started in Sweden. So if you were in Germany and going to school there, your kids would probably go to an IB school. So it's been around for a long time. Very rigorous curriculum centered around these 5 themes of who am I, where do I belong in the world, and kind of this global awareness piece that has a lot to do with, instead of just telling kids things, letting them use, as Juan said, an inquiry-based approach to learning. So it really hits a lot of the 21st century skills, and my goal eventually is to have all of our students in elementary school learn another language, because I think that that's the time to do it, and I think that's a competitive advantage if all our kids know how to speak another language. So we're really happy to have IB hopefully get started this year, and it will take 2 or 3 years to get officially sanctioned or approved by the IB board. They come out and work with you, but a lot of staff development, a lot of training, a lot of curriculum writing. So from there, we're going to switch over to New Tech. So kind of at the early years program, and then on the other end of the high school program is New Tech High. Again, we first saw that in Napa. There are 4 New Techs in California, 1 in Napa, 1 in Sacramento, and then 2 in LA. So we'd be the 5th New Tech High. There's actually 64 throughout the United States. Really getting big in the Midwest. A lot of them starting up in Michigan, where they're realizing that kids, again, need different skills to be successful. So we did a lot of visits. Sandy and Scott went on visits, and our board went on visits, and our principals went on visits, and some teachers, again, to see would this program be good for our district. And it's based a lot on project-based, but it's not just technology, although technology is a huge part of it. If you're at a New Tech school, you get every kid gets access to a computer. So it is a lot of technology, but it's a lot of project-based learning where kids are shown real-life projects and have to try to work in teams to solve them, and also interdisciplinary. So a lot of the classes are 50 students with 2 teachers, and they're working together again through 2 disciplines to solve some problems. So one of our teachers that attended a couple of our visits to New Tech is Eric Dunham, and he's a math teacher, and math is probably the most difficult class to do projects all about math, and also to have it as an interdisciplinary level. So I just wanted Eric to give some thoughts about why he thinks New Tech's the way to go.
Sure, I'd be happy to. New Technology High School is a network of schools that, as Mr. Hogan was saying, really utilizes the project-based learning approach. And I think that it really helps students in a lot of ways to build skills and work towards, going towards careers that, a lot of kids are working on things right now that they'll be working on in college and going on into careers that haven't even really been invented yet. So, it's kind of a neat time where technology is progressing so fast that, we kind of have to teach our kids to keep up with it, and we've got to push them forward and challenge them. And I think the New Tech Network really kind of is an interesting model that encompasses a lot of these 21st century skills that we were talking about. As we were saying, it's very heavy on project-based learning. The kids that we saw were always working in teams, collaborating a lot on various projects, and there was a lot of self-directed, individualized learning going on. Everywhere that we went, the teacher was kind of more off to the side, watching everything happen. The kids were really driving the learning, and high volume, high amount of technology was being used throughout everywhere we went. And the network has its own digital learning platform called Echo, and the teachers the students can access it, and they can see all their different classes and all the different projects that they're working on. It's also a social interaction type thing, similar to Facebook and stuff like that. But one of the neat things that I saw as a teacher was really cool is they had each student had their own little digital kind of portfolio, so to speak. And they had all the different tools that they needed for the different projects, and they could access them at any time that they needed to know the information. So it was kind of like, okay, I'm working on something, and all of a sudden I'm at a point where I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. Okay, I'm going to look into my digital portfolio, and it's kind of real-time learning as needed. So that was kind of a neat piece. And we talked to a lot of kids on these visits, and I was just really impressed by the culture that they had built up. Working together as a team. They were, there wasn't any slackers. We talked to them a lot about that, because that's in traditional education. We often have that when we're trying to get kids to do projects and stuff. There'll be 2 or 3 that are doing all the work, and then there's some that are just kind of sitting back and watching it all happen. Well, the culture that they build up doesn't really allow that to happen. They actually each are given specific, distinct jobs and different pieces of information that has to all come together as part of the project. And it was real interesting. We were asked,